I was born and raised in the Democratic Republic of the Congo to missionary parents. My parents were second-generation missionaries. My grandparents had been there in the 50s and 60s. Living in the Congo was extremely rustic. We were in what they call the bush. We had to have cisterns and pumps for running water. We had to have generators. So not at all what we have here in the United States.
I've known since 5th grade I wanted to be a missionary in Africa. And so it was like, this kind of light bulb moment of, oh, could this be the guy, God's putting in my life for good?
We had been married 2 years, and in 1995 we went on a summer missions trip to the Congo. So we were there for 2 months, and we hadn't been back to Africa.
We've talked at different points, should we go? With 4 kids, it's hard to navigate. We never felt like God said, just go.
As a structural engineer, who designs bridges, I thought, Lord, how in the world can I use my bridge design skills in Africa? And so, we had built this big, beautiful home in 2011. And probably in about 2013, Holly really felt like we needed to downsize so that we could be contributing more financially to things of eternal value. It was something that I was just kicking and screaming and really wrestling with God on. And about that same time, found out about an organization called Bridging the Gap Africa. It's a nonprofit that builds footbridges in rural parts of Kenya. And sure enough, the founder and director of it is Harmon Parker, and he's an old family friend. So I called Harmon, just really felt like God was telling me to call him. And so that began a partnership with Bridging the Gap Africa. I think initially when we wanted to downsize, God really had put it on Holly's heart well before mine. And so in a lot of ways there was pride kicking in. I had earned it, I had worked for it, we had worked hard. Just trying to build this house was a challenging process. And so it took me a good 6 months of wrestling with that and just, God, I don't want to do this. I didn't fully understand and comprehend where that was going to take us, what the next house was going to look like, what the next steps were going to be. But I knew that God would get us there.
One of my favorite Bible verses is, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." And I think that was just one of those things that I knew as long as we dwelt with Him, wherever our home was, whatever it looked like, we were in His shadow.
And so, we were nervous, and is this going to work out? Is this going to happen? Are we going to be able to find a new house? Is the timing of all this going to work out so that we can make this trip?
Well, we closed in February. We had a gap before we could get into this home. And so that first weekend, we bought our tickets, went ahead and booked our tickets to Kenya. God's showing faithfulness. We've got to, we're going to do our part.
In my last evaluation with my supervisor at work, he could notice a difference in my demeanor, and just my spirit, and just a different freedom because we downsized and had more opportunities to do things with missions and to be able to invest in other people.
We've got a lot. There's a lot that traps us down. Our culture very much says, you need this, you deserve this. And Christ says, no, you don't. They need me more than you need your stuff.
It's not necessarily easy. It's not like we suddenly have it figured out. We can't take the cars in the house with us, but we can take people with us. And so, thankfully, the Holy Spirit, even as we wrestle and question and ask why, the Holy Spirit continues to remind us that that's where I want you investing your time and your resources.